Welcome to the 45th Annual United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce National Conference. Game On, the health, economics, and trajectory of Hispanic business. At this time, we ask that you turn your attention to the screens for our special messages from our generous sponsors at AT&T and MasterCard.
Bienvenida a casa.
Bienvenida a casa.
Welcome home.
Bienvenida a casa.
Thanks for every time.
Rápido. R con R, ferrocarril.
¿Entiendes? Recuérdame.
Recuérdame. Bienvenida a casa.
Hola, abuela. Bienvenida a casa. Te enseño a tu,
¿Mi recámara?
Sí.
Venga, we'll speak a lot of Spanish.
Conectar lo cambia todo. AT&T.
Vamos a darles una sorpresa.
Oh my God, está en mi restaurante.
Ustedes se van a la Copa América. Ustedes se van a la Copa América. Nosotros nos encargamos del negocio.
Tiki-taka, empecemos en la cocina. Empecemos en la cocina.
Puede ser. ¡Qué golazo esta mercancía!
Mira, Mastercard nos ayuda a proteger nuestro negocio. Y con Paysan enviamos lo que ganamos a la abuela en México.
Estimados colegas and honored guests, it's with great privilege that we introduce our next speaker. With a distinguished career advocating for the growth and success of Hispanic business nationwide, he has been a tireless leader in fostering economic development and empowering Latino entrepreneurs. Please join us in welcoming your United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Mr. Ramiro A. Cavazos.
Buenos dias. Good morning. We have a good crowd early Monday morning. This is great. I am so excited you're here. Everybody, good morning. Welcome to Kansas City. Let's give a round of applause to Kansas City. What a great city. Well, welcome to our morning general session breakfast. This is the 2024 United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce National Conference. It's our 45th, as you know, and I'm thrilled to see all of you here bright and early. And I'm also happy to kick off another exciting day. We had great receptions yesterday and dinners and everybody connecting. It was so good to see people from all over the country reconnecting to talk business and to learn from one another, you know, how we are doing. And we're doing well. As I get started today, I extend my deepest gratitude to the folks that made today possible and the next few days successful. Our 2024 event corporate chair is Bank of America. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. We have the blessings of strong corporate partners. All of them are important to us, but corporate chair stepped up, and I want to thank and you're going to get to meet and hear from Angie, Garcia, Lathrop, our dear friend, who chairs our Senior Executive Corporate Advisory Board. So their unwavering support and commitment to the Hispanic community, Hispanic business community, has been instrumental in making our conference a reality. So thank you to them and to many of you who joined us this morning for your partnership and always setting the tone for what's important and what really true leadership means. So give yourself a round of applause. Muchísimas gracias. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge our esteemed United States Hispanic Chamber Board of Directors. Their guidance, their wisdom, their dedication to our mission is the backbone of our organization. They set policy direction. They're small business leaders, corporate leaders, chamber leaders. So please join me at this time in giving our board of directors a round of applause for their tireless efforts in advancing Hispanic business interests across the nation. Thank you all so much. Muchísimas gracias. I'd also like to express our sincere appreciation to our event signature sponsors. I mentioned in addition to Bank of America, we have other folks with broad shoulders that have stepped up to say, U.S. Hispanic Chamber, we believe that the future of this country's economic success will go through and drive through Latino business. These companies that have supported us demonstrate a commitment to our community and enables us to provide the programs that we provide with the highest quality for networking, but also for marketplace opportunities, for access to capital, and for empowerment, and having a seat at the table. So let's give a round of applause, a warm round of applause to all of our corporate sponsors. And I'd like to mention them, with your permission, right now. You all patronize these businesses because they truly believe in equity and diversity, and that is the magic, the innovation that drives our economy and has for more than 200 years, since many of us came here from someone else, some other country, over the last 200 to 300 to 400 years. So let's thank American Airlines. Let's thank Comcast, NBC Universal, Telemundo, Google. Make sure you Google somebody right now. JP Morgan Chase, Nationwide, PNC Bank, Progressive, Toyota, and Wells Fargo. Let's thank you for that warm applause. Thank you. Now, they are our top sponsors. All of our sponsors are critically important. You all know that we care about everybody's support for our Latino business community, because after all, it means a secure future for our children and our grandchildren, for not just Latino kids, but for all kids in this nation, as the demographics and our population and our economic power continues to grow. So as I begin this day, I want to remind everyone why we're here. The U.S. Hispanic Chamber National Conference is more than just an event. We're a catalyst for change, a platform for growth, and a celebration of the immense economic contributions of our Latino community. If the teleprompter could keep moving, I'd appreciate it. Could we give them more coffee back there? I'm so honored to spend our 45th National Conference with each of you today. I also want to say that, as I go to the script, that your presence and participation is so important. Today, you'll engage with industry leaders, participate in thought-provoking discussions, and forge connections that can propel your businesses forward. That's why you're here. You're here to do more business. That's what we hear from all of you. So I encourage each of you to make the most of today, attend the sessions, stop and say hello to our board members and our corporate sponsors, ask questions, have your voice be heard, share your experiences, and most of all, connect with one another. We have people from Hawaii to Puerto Rico, Rhode Island to South Texas, Alaska, all the way to Florida, and everywhere in between, all the way up to Wisconsin. So I just wanted to thank each of y'all in advance this morning. We are so excited to be here with you today. And with that, muchísimas gracias, as I remind you that the strength of our community lies in our unity and our willingness to support one another. And although humility and respect are virtues in our culture, and it is why we are a beloved part of the American experience, we also are proud knowing that humility and respect can translate well to business, but we need to make sure that every conversation we have, every business card that we exchange digitally or in person or any other way, every idea you share contributes to the collective success of the Hispanic businesses across America. So as we move through the next couple of days, I encourage you to challenge yourselves to think beyond the present. Sometimes we put thresholds and limits on ourselves and break those barriers down if you put them up for yourself. Together, anything is possible. Everything is possible if you embrace a future that is an economic future that provides democracy and free enterprise to all participants in our economy, shaping the leadership and the direction of our future. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Enjoy your breakfast, your presence, your participation, and your efforts are not taken lightly. We want to make sure this conference is truly special for you. Together, we're going to make things happen that are going to create a more vibrant future for America's economy, the largest economy in the world. And as you all know, Latinos are the 5th largest economy at $3.6 trillion when you collectively aggregate not just the businesses, but everything that we spend and invest in and purchase. So thank you very much. I'll get to see many of you over the next coming days. Enjoy the conference. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Ramiro. Honored guests, we welcome to the stage for brief remarks on behalf of our corporate chair sponsor, Bank of America, Community Affairs Executive, Ms. Angie Garcia Lathrop.
Good morning. Excuse me. It's so wonderful to be in front of all of you today at the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce National Conference. Let me first thank USHCC President and CEO Ramiro Cavazos for the invitation to speak to you today, and more importantly, for his leadership of this critical organization. In my role helping to lead community engagement for Bank of America, I get to see firsthand how powerful events like this truly are. This conference is such an important opportunity to convene Hispanic Latino business leaders from across the country so we can share our collective perspectives, insights, and reflections. At Bank of America, we're proud to serve as corporate chair of this year's conference. But more importantly, we're proud to serve 14.2 million Hispanic Latino clients every day. That includes 1.2 million business owners, some of which are here today. Our commitment to the Hispanic Latino business community reflects not only the incredible opportunity the bank sees, but also the essential role this community plays in fueling economic growth in the U.S. This important segment is acquiring wealth, starting businesses faster than any other market segment in America, thanks in part to the teleprompter is slow today. Thank you, Oscar. Thanks in part to the hard work of everyone here today. That's why at Bank of America, we are committed to strengthening the U.S. economy by accelerating and empowering Latino entrepreneurship across this country. It is also why, since 2017, Bank of America has surveyed Hispanic Latino small business owners as part of our Women and Minority Business Owner Spotlights. This research, all available online, allows us to gain insights to help our clients grow and manage their businesses. I could not be more excited for the conversations we're going to have over the next 2 days and the programming that's in store for us as we all chart a course for the future of the Hispanic Latino business community. Muchísimas gracias. Enjoy the conference.
Esteemed guests, we hope you've been enjoying your delicious meal. To kick off the next part of our program, we ask that you please direct your attention to the screens for a brief video from our signature sponsor at Nationwide.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Now, please give a warm round of applause to our next speaker, who will introduce our general session keynote. Senior Marketing Consultant and Enterprise Marketing Management for Nationwide, Ms. Lory Burgos.
Good morning. Buenos dias. All right. It is truly an honor to welcome you to this morning's dynamic session of the 2024 U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce National Conference. My name is Lory Burgos, and I am super excited to represent Nationwide, a long-standing partner of the USHCC. At Nationwide, we believe in the power of Hispanic entrepreneurs to reshape the marketplace, and we are committed to providing the tools, resources, and support necessary to help you build your legacy and elevate your business. Today, we celebrate the remarkable growth of Hispanic-owned businesses in the United States. There are over 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses contributing more than $800 billion to the economy. Your innovation, resilience, and entrepreneurial spirit are not just contributing to the economy, you are transforming it. As Steve Jobs once said, innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. This quote perfectly captures the essence of turning challenges into opportunities, a quality that defines our culture. In this era of rapid technological advancement, tools like artificial intelligence are revolutionizing the way that we do business. Embracing innovation can provide you with a competitive edge, streamline your operations, and open up new avenues for growth. Let's view these advancements not as threats, but as opportunities to propel your business forward and stay ahead of the curve. Nationwide is thrilled to introduce our beloved friend and partner, renowned viral marketer Andrea Casanova. Her work has been featured on Amazon Prime Video with The 60-Day Hustle, and if you haven't watched it, please do so. Netflix's The New Americans, Gaming a Revolution, as well as publications like Entrepreneur, Forbes, Bloomberg, and Microsoft Magazine. Andrea's journey from Venezuela to becoming a leading influencer and entrepreneur is a testament to the power of innovation and resilience. We hope that what you learn here today from her experience and knowledge will help propel your business to new heights. Ahora vamos a darle la bienvenida a Andrea Casanova.
Oh my gosh, I heard there was a party yesterday at the rooftop that I totally missed, and the fact that y'all are all here today is so cool. So a round of applause to you for not letting the drinks get too far. Today we're going to be talking about two of my favorite subjects that have led me to become the powerhouse I believe that I am today with my business coming from Venezuela, a small little island, and those are AI and social media. So I'm super excited. I want to start off with a couple of fun facts. As I mentioned, I was born and raised in Latin America, Venezuela, Panama, Dominican Republic, and I was raised in a little aviary rescuing birds with my family. I also have a 17-year-old senior dog called Captain Scruffles. He has one eye and no teeth, and he's in all of my videos, so you should definitely check him out. I have a little bit of anxiety, and I'm glad that I'm addressing that firsthand, because if I mess up, just know it's not the teleprompter. I'm not using one. It's just me. I'm the problem. And lastly, I've been working with some phenomenal partners. One specific I want to highlight is Nationwide, who has literally been on our side for the past couple of years. And not only do they equip my community with resources and tools to level up with extraordinary care, but they also have supported me and championed me throughout all of these times. Now, I want to paint the picture of a few years ago. I immigrated to the US at the age of 17, so almost 10 years ago. And I did so undocumented, so if there's any illegal people in the room, I'm so sorry. I did get my green card, though, 3 months ago, so we're good now. Thank you. I was broke, undocumented, and I didn't have any family here in the US. And honestly, whenever I'm asked about resilience and about adaptation, I usually recall my tiny little studio infested with roaches. Trust me, they looked a lot worse than they do on screen. And honestly, at the time when you're going through really hard events, you don't really think about resilience or perseverance. You're not like, wow, I'm a hell of a fighter. Honestly, you just care about surviving. And there were 3 particular things that kept me going: my why, my potential, and the internet. My why was the fact that I missed my grandmother's funeral because I wasn't allowed to leave the US, and she was the person who raised me. That type of grief sticks with you for so long that all you can do is pull through and show up and make sure that it wasn't in vain. Like many other small business owners, I also knew that I had a lot to give. I just didn't know what it was just yet, but I didn't have the money to do it, the resources, or the tools. I just had a gut feeling. And lastly, I had the internet, niche communities, a random app with banana bread and dancing that kept me motivated and that kept me realizing that there was, in fact, a future for me here. So if you're currently feeling intimidated by new technology, or maybe you think that there's a really big learning curve, or maybe you don't know how it applies to your business, by the end of this presentation, I'm hoping that I don't inspire you to embrace AI or new technology, but rather I inspire you to explore it, to just give it a chance. In addition to that, I'm going to give you my inside scoop of some of the tools that I personally use and other creatorpreneurs are using nowadays to expand their content and therefore their business. And lastly, to understand how AI can really help when it comes to decision making. Decision making is probably one of the hardest things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis as business owners. We wear so many different hats, and in addition to that, you want me to delegate tasks, break down things into priorities, choose what I'm gonna have for an outfit and to eat. That's why I wear solid collars, because decision fatigue is real. I totally didn't steal that from Steve Jobs. And when I think about AI, I think about tools that amplify human decision-making. I don't think of a co-creator, I think of collaborators, a friend, a partner, a sidekick. And all of these words have one in common, which is just support. It's not there to replace you, but rather to enhance and optimize what you do on a day-to-day basis. And the facts are, I'm not gonna go through them for sake of time, that our community, the Hispanic and Latino community, are killing it when it comes to new technology. They're embracing it and therefore impacting economic growth. So that being said, what has AI done for me in my business? It has optimized my day-to-day where I no longer focus on busy work. It has allowed me to focus on my zone of genius and on the things that I consider myself to be good at. It removes the path of resistance because I can just get started on things. And lastly, and most importantly, it's made me thousands in sales. That being said, oh, thank you, period. That being said, with great technology comes great marketing opportunities. So if your group chats, your Slack, your Outlook emails look something like that, like, oh, we should post, but we don't have the money to hire an editor or a content creator, or I just don't know how to write a caption, or if you're spending a lot of time with busy work, because let's be real, there's no little girl that said, I want to do Excel spreadsheets forever. Like, that's not the case, right? If you're spending so much time in those areas of your business, you're not focused on scaling. So that being said, take out your phones. I'm gonna be walking you through my favorite apps that I use every single day to keep expanding my brand and my business. So I'll give you a quick second for you to bring out your phones and take a picture of the slideshow. Okay. I know that Google's in the room, so shout out to Google wherever they are, because I'm a Pixel 9 fan, and also I'm aware of Gemini Live, so love to see that. But I'll get started with some of my favorite apps over here for brainstorm and idea generation. So marketing teams, this is for you. The first one is Saner AI. I love Saner AI because it's essentially the ADHD entrepreneur tool that helps me stay organized. It's essentially a second brain. It can scan all the websites that I've visited and compile the main key points, and in addition to that, connect dots with unrelated conversations, which is really cool. So let's say that one day you're talking to your friend Todd and you're wondering about what you should get them for, I don't know, Christmas or for their birthday, and another day you come across something that Todd may like, but you simply forgot because you didn't know where to store it. It'll remind you and it'll take notes for you, which is pretty fantastic. Otter AI is a transcription tool, but not only that, it's also your mini assistant. I no longer have an intern or my assistant join into calls because the truth is it's not worth their time. All I do is I set up Otter AI and it'll transcribe the entire conversation, give me key insights, and in addition to that, it'll also delegate action items, which is really cool. And of course, I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with our favorite AI-powered conversational tool, ChatGPT. I don't think I have to elaborate much on that, but let's just say that I've been enjoying GPT-4 a lot, especially the voice chat, because I can literally talk to it as if it was a colleague or a friend, which is kind of creepy, low-key, but we're not gonna talk about it. Now, this is something that I've coined as of the past couple of weeks, and it's something I started doing every single morning, and it's I wake up, and instead of going on hot girl walks, if you know, you know, I go on AI walks, and that means that I go outside and I walk, and I just brain dump everything that I have in my mind. From things that I have to do to things that I have to do on my personal life, I just brain dump it all. And then I utilize that transcription, import it into GPT, and then from there, it'll spit back out to me everything based on priority and organize it for me. And it'll even delegate to my team members so I don't have to go ahead and waste time doing so. Now, when it comes to prompting ChatGPT, I don't want you to just sit there and ask it questions. That's why you're gonna get very basic answers. Now, I'm not a data and privacy person. I'm pretty sure you have a panel coming up on that, so don't quote me on this. But I love just giving it all the context that I possibly can, whether that is uploading documents so it can actually understand where I'm coming from or the data that it needs to pull, or simply giving it some facts about myself so it can best tailor his answers. Now, for research and planning, here are 3 of my favorite tools. Perplexity AI, SciSpace, and Answer the Public. Perplexity AI is a tool that allows you to pull research papers and studies from very well-known, credible sources. So if you want to seem smart, this is your go-to. In addition to that, SciSpace is another tool that does something very similar, but they're quite literally focused on the scientific space. So this is great for academics. And lastly, I don't want to hear any longer that you don't have any idea of what content to make or what new product to launch, because Answer the Public will give you back some questions, the top asked questions actually of your niche or of your business based on what people are looking for at the moment, which is super cool. Moving on to creating content, captions play phrase me in video and photo room. Captions, they do have captions, quite literally, but also what I really like about it is the fact that if you're one person that's been trying to make content, but you need to rid of a script because you're not comfortable in front of the camera just yet, caption actually helps mirror your eye line. So you may be reading somewhere else and it'll mirror your eye line directed to your phone or your camera, so that way you feel comfortable embracing whatever script that you're looking at without a little teleprompter, which is super cool. Play phrase me, this goes for my zillennials and millennials marketers that love implementing GIFs, still don't know, everywhere. And essentially, you go in there, you type out a phrase, and it'll find every single movie or TV scene in which that phrase has been told. So for example, if you're like, oh, it's Friday, and you put, it's Friday, it'll show up every single movie scene or TV scene that phrase has been set on, which is also really interesting. And then video AI and photo room are basically your AI-powered stock videos and stock photos, which literally remove the backgrounds of things so that you can implement your product, which is amazing for e-commerce. Now, what I want you to think about when you're creating content, especially as you're utilizing AI, is to capitalize on your storytelling strengths as much as you can. Again, the goal is not to replace, but rather enhance and optimize something that you're already great at. So tools like captions, for example, making that eye contact. Damn, these apps should be cutting me a check right now. But anyway, like they're there to enhance that journey and to help you be a better storyteller. Now, editing and refining. Who here is always talking about possibly one day having a podcast? Raise your hand. Okay, period. Joe Rogan's gonna be off of a job soon because these tools are gonna be able to get you to where you wanna go. Autopod is an app that allows you to basically edit a multi-cam setup. What that means is if you have a camera here, here, and here, it's able to detect which speaker is actually speaking, and it'll cut it accordingly. In addition to that, Opus Pro, once you have your full-length app, you can import that into Opus Pro, and then it'll spit back out to you 10 vertical videos based on that longer form video. So you can cross-share it in other platforms, and in addition to that, it'll give you the odds of whether it's gonna go viral or not with some additional data, like the hook was good or the visuals are very crisp, which is fantastic for A/B testing. Glink AI is essentially your tool, your go-to tool, so that if you're one of those people that just hates hearing themselves speak, I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but I hate watching myself speak. And what I typically do is that I import it into Glink AI, and it'll cut down any bad takes, and in addition to that, any silent spaces, which is really awesome, minimizing the amount of work that your editors have to do. And Adobe Podcast, it doesn't matter if you're outside on the street or at a football game, the Adobe Podcast Enhance feature allows you to hyper-focus on your voice, so that way you can have crisp audio no matter the location. Now, I think a lot of you are sitting on creative solutions and creative ideas. But most of it all, you're really sitting on revenue that could be created if you just simply chose to maximize your impact by automating a lot of your content and your marketing efforts. So that's just a friendly reminder. Publishing and promoting. The Leap, Repurpose IO, and Tascade. So Tascade is a simple scheduler similar to Later.com or Hootsuite. But I really want to highlight The Leap at the moment, just for disclaimer. I do work with them very often, but they did not tell me to say this. I just love them so much because The Leap is one of the first softwares that essentially have an AI-powered product builder, which means that if I go in it and I go, I want to make a course on vision boards, it'll automatically create it for me and essentially give me a script that I can just start filming, which is really great for those business owners who are looking for an additional source of revenue. Repurpose IO is another tool that will basically connect one tool to the other. For example, what I do with Repurpose IO is I automatically download all of my TikToks, it'll remove the watermarks and upload them to a Google Drive so that it's easier for me to repost on other platforms without necessarily doing so with a watermark, which could result in shadow banning. Now, I don't want you to go ahead and try all of these tools all at once. I want you to focus on the main things that are causing some sort of barrier to entry in your specific niche or space. Whatever's causing resistance, whatever's not making you move the needle, start delegating that to AI. Instead of having one of your interns look at endless Excel sheets, ask them to go on TikTok every single day or on YouTube and try to find the latest AI tool for them to make your business better. And start slow, customize it to your needs, stay updated, and at the end of the day, remember, it's our collaboration. Thank you so much. And over here, we're linking to one of the articles that I wrote on Nationwide's Business Center for AI specifically. So if you're interested, please make sure to scan the little QR code. And then in addition to that, we have a podcast episode out with Nationwide on future-proofing your finances. So if you're in your finance literacy era, like I am, it's a really, really good watch. Thank you so much.
Here, it's easy to forget you're at the airport. A new standard of lounge has landed. Welcome to the all-new Admirals Club by American Airlines.
Please welcome to the stage our moderator for this session's panel, the Business Imperative of Cybersecurity, Managing Director of Government Affairs at American Airlines, Mr. Juan Hinojosa. Follow.
All right. Buenos dias. Bienvenido. Thank you for being here. I want to begin by introducing my distinguished panelists. I want to start with Michael Caralis, the Vice President of Advanced Solutions, Inside Sales, Digital, and Resellers for Verizon Business, and Roberto Martinez, Founder and CEO of Braven Agency. Thank you for being here. Round of applause.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So we've got a great topic. We're batting lead off for the first day of the conference. A little pressure to deliver a great panel, but we've got a great topic. and I want to start with a cutting edge topic, something that Andrea talked a little bit about in her speech, and that's artificial intelligence. I think it's permeating sort of cybersecurity and all these issues. And so, a few years ago, ChatGPT felt a little bit like a novelty. You give it a prompt, write me a story about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift in the style of Shakespeare, and you might get a sonnet. But smart people were thinking ahead about how could you harness the power of AI for your businesses. And so businesses are adopting AI in their practices and in their operations. And with transformational change comes the opportunity for risk. And then you had bad actors also looking at AI. How can you use that to defraud a business and customers? And so I want to sort of take on that issue, AI, risk, and opportunity, and just start by asking about risk. So how has the increasing adoption of AI in business operations created new challenges in cybersecurity?
So I think when you first off, you can't have a panel discussion in today's world without discussing AI. But when you're looking at the risks associated with it, there's a few different lenses that I look at. First and foremost, when you use AI in your business, you actually have to orient your data and connect your data properly. So that way, when the LLM, the large language model, is actually pulling the insights and rendering it, it actually has a resource to pull it from. And that creates risk because now you're tying your systems together in a way that has everything that you need about your customers and your business in one location for the AI to access. So you have to really make sure that is secure as you are implementing an AI technology with customer information, right? Because hackers are after the customer information. They're after your passwords, your billing codes, all of those types of things. So the easier you make it to aggregate data, the more risk there is of a breach of that data. So it's critically important as you're using AI technology to really understand what customers are going to, like what information is incorporated in it and how you are securing that information. So that to me is a huge risk. The second factor is really pretexting is one of the largest attack vectors today. So that's getting a phishing campaign on your phone, there's the ability to do deep fakes. We've all seen it on social media. Hey, is that image real? Is that a real video? To trick your employees into getting information about login information for ransomware attacks, et cetera, that will become more prevalent as technology continues to grow.
No, great point, and excited to be here today. I want everyone to take a shot when they hear AI. So this conference is going to be really revolved around AI. I welcome you guys to join us tomorrow. We're going to have a specific session with Google talking about AI. But to your point, when it comes to AI and cybersecurity, we have about 600 people in this audience, and of those 600 people, 63% is going to be attacked, is going to experience some type of cyber attack as a small business. And of those 60%, about 40% of you guys are not going to survive that attack. That cost for a cyber attack is about $200,000, which means if you have $200,000 to give away without being preemptive and understanding the threats are happening right now within your space, you're going to not just be behind the 8 ball, but potentially experience an existential threat to your business. How can AI be leveraged to protect yourself? The truth is these bad actors are already leveraging AI at scale. It's a force multiplier. What that means is that you can leverage AI to do the job of 5, 6, 7 people when it comes to deep fakes, which is just creating content, images, videos to trick your audience. IBM came up with a study and said 92% of attacks when it comes to cybersecurity are because of human error. If you don't trust IBM, Stanford came out with a similar study and said 83% is because of a human error. So understanding how our members, our community, and our employees can better prep when it comes to those cyber attacks is going to make you a little bit more resilient. And it's a double-edged sword when it comes to those cybersecurity attacks because they are leveraging AI, but we're going to talk about ways you can leverage AI to protect yourself, to create systems and gated accesses for your employees so that you can leverage those AI tools to protect yourself as these attacks become more prevalent in our industries.
Thank you, Roberto. Let's dig deeper on that, though. How do you leverage AI, maybe some specific examples, to defend against cybersecurity threats? How can we use it positively in that space?
Yeah, I think, first off, we talked about some of the scary stuff up front. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff, right? So AI for businesses is game changing. If you're a small business owner, time is your greatest commodity. There's not enough time to do everything. And AI allows you to automate tasks, whether it's social media, creating images, copy, stuff like that. So there's extreme benefits to that. And then I talked earlier about bringing your data together so that way the models can learn and help you customize tailored experiences to your customers. And so at Verizon, when you call in to our sales force as an example, they know everything about our customers. They know, hey, is there a network issue going on? What type of services that they have? we've empowered them with information across about 12 different systems so they can very quickly in one call solve a customer's kind of issue or desires as quickly as possible. And that's some of the benefits that you have. But with that data, we've done an enterprise deployment of AI, so all of our data stays within our infrastructure secure, and no access to public AI models as an example, because we want to protect our customer data as much as humanly possible and keep it containerized within our company.
Great point. And a couple of things you can leverage when it comes to AI. You can definitely develop a response mechanism when it comes to leveraging AI within your organization. What we're seeing here is using AI to churn through your data, to have a better understanding of how to understand that data. And there's two big pieces that we love AI for when it comes to cybersecurity. Behavioral predictive models like behavior analytics, and using those behavior analytics to understand when your employees are not doing what they're supposed to be doing at a certain time of day. You see this a lot in the banking industry. If folks are pulling out money at certain times of days that you typically don't, sometimes they put a hold on your bank account when you're pulling out money at 2, 3 o'clock, or you're traveling across the country or across the pond going to Europe, and that transaction does not seem normal. That is AI working in the background to protect your banking information. So as you start developing out your data sets and understanding how can I leverage AI to better understand what's going on within my own employee base so I can protect myself against cybersecurity. That's a big one. The other one that's really important as a small business or medium-sized business is developing out these secure systems and leveraging AI to be able to develop predictive analytics. What is predictive analytics? It's this idea that your data is telling you information that demonstrates where your vulnerabilities lie without you doing anything. So understanding that those big data sets with machine learning, understanding what they mean to you as an organization and what that data is telling you when it comes to your vulnerability. That is saying you have a lot of data coming in. Is my data vulnerable? Where are my weaknesses within my data set? And how can I leverage AI to help me guide the decision-making when I develop out my infrastructure so I am not vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks?
Thank you. So let's pivot away from AI for a moment, right? So everyone can put their shot glasses down. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you're seeing right now in cybersecurity, some specific threats that businesses are encountering, maybe in sectors like finance, healthcare, and e-commerce. What are we seeing right now?
Yeah, so Verizon does two thought leadership documents every year. One is the Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report. One is the Verizon Mobile Security Index. So those two documents we've been publishing for years. We source it from thousands of different breaches. So just remember those two things if you want to learn more about it. So pretexting is still one of the largest issues that we see, right? So social engineering attacks, our data points are a little bit different, where last year we saw about 74% of breaches are from pretesting. So this year we saw it down actually to about 68%, which is good that it's moving down. So training is becoming more and more prevalent. And we find that 20% of employees are now reporting phishing attacks, which is rapidly up year over year. That's a good sign that people are becoming educated that when you receive a text message asking you to, log into a website with your credentials, it's probably not real anymore. And we all get those text messages. I get them from a financial institution myself, and the bank account's not in my name, it's in my wife's name. So I'm like, I don't even know why I'm getting this from this financial institution. It's not even in my name. I'm not clicking it, right? So I think that awareness continues to grow, but as that happens, sophistication continues to improve from threat actors trying to come after you. So you have to be diligent from a patch update perspective. There's some basic fundamentals, whether it's patch updates, education and training, and then when you're dealing with specific verticals, there are compliance regulations that you also have to. So if you're in healthcare, you have to be HIPAA compliant. And oftentimes on mobile devices, I meet with customers all over the country, and they don't have a device management policy, they don't have a mobile threat protection platform on their mobile devices, which has a ton of patient and personal information on. So it's a huge risk and opportunity for folks to really take care of as you're making technology changes over time. So those are just a couple of the areas that are really prevalent from a mobile device perspective.
And to that point, as we're starting to see the growth of these cyber attacks, and we just saw the pipeline, Colonial Pipeline go down in 2021, was it? And that particular example was a ransomware example where these bad actors held this pipeline in ransom of $4.4 million, and they asked for Bitcoin. And so what you have there is the inability to protect your infrastructure and your internal and external network, and what's really that's incumbent on is training your leadership, training your frontline staff that have access to the sensitive information, having a tiered approach when it comes to external networks and internal networks as you're building out that capacity. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, the front line is human error, and understanding that the folks who have access to your vital information are the folks who are going to be most vulnerable to that information. So what can you do to protect yourself is that training element, and some of those elements that you can start developing out is multi-factor authentication. One of the biggest tools that we use within our organization is the PIN code that changes every couple of hours depending on where you're at in a certain location. And the other piece of it is having a process and procedure set in place as an organization in case you do become exposed, to respond in a timely fashion, and then leveraging some of these AI functionalities to communicate that out to your network.
Excellent, thank you. I want to turn now to an incident that occurred in July. It was a cybersecurity infrastructure issue, so not technically a cybersecurity attack or cyber attack. But for an airline, when the CrowdStrike patch sort of had an error, it impacted all sectors of business. But for an airline, that meant we had to diagnose the problem, figure out the solution, reboot computers. That's happening at airports, at ticketed desks, at gates across the country. That can lead to delayed flights, missed connections, cancellations, passengers out of place. That has major impacts, right? There's going to be refunds that have to be issued. So every business experiences this a little bit differently, but I just want to talk about the reputational and financial impacts of a data breach if that occurs, and how can strong cybersecurity help mitigate the risks of something like that?
Yeah, listen, I think a strong cybersecurity policy is a competitive differentiator in today's world. I often say, personally, I believe everyone in this room's data is somewhere out there. We've all gotten letters about breaches from insurance agencies, et cetera, that are out there, and no one is immune. But when you choose a vendor, it is important that they have a strong cybersecurity policy. They have a plan. They are willing to talk to you about it. They have expertise in that domain, and they're willing to help you along your journey. Verizon, I would say, we're a very risk-adverse company. We have extremely strict policies around cybersecurity, around who we onboard, who we work with, and what we do. And that is, at times, for me, painful, but I also appreciate what the goal is to protect folks and what they're doing, because it is brand impacting to any organization that might have a breach, and the financial ramifications that you talked about. I owned a small business. I grew up in the restaurant business when I was younger than I am today, and I can't imagine a couple $100,000 or $50,000, losing because I've lost access and control of my website. I've lost access and control of my point of sale systems. Somebody's gotten into my business bank account and was able to transfer funds. Those things are extremely painful to any small business. So I think that the risks are both your brand and what you are in the marketplace, but also the survival of your business, which any small business owner is really following what I consider the American dream, to try to support their family and do what they're passionate about. And it's heartbreaking to see people impacted financially from criminals taking advantage, candidly, from all over the world. So I think there's brand impacts and financial impacts, but there are steps you can take to, improve and manage the risk that you have associated with it.
I mean, you nailed it. It's your branding, your reputation, your livelihood, understanding how all these different elements of being attacked and having this data breach. It just happened back in, I think it was April of this year. The National Public Database got hacked, and I think it was 2.1 billion records were compromised, including our Social Security. And so the trust in the public sector is obviously reflective of not trusting that. We cannot afford as businesses, as small businesses, as emerging businesses, to compromise not just our own business, but the network and supply chain that we're servicing. One of the biggest issues that we see within our industry is understanding that while you might be secure, your supply chain might not be secure. So going back and understanding their level of security, their level of certification. For some of us who do work with cities, counties, states, and governments, being compliant, ISO 2000, those type of certifications are vital to communicate that value to not just your contractor, but to your supply chain network. The other big piece when it comes to being certified and compliant is understanding that you are as strong as your weakest link, which means understanding how not just your frontline employees and your supply chain, but who's sharing that information, how many folks have access to that information, and then creating a tiered or gated way of providing that data to your employees in a way that's responsible and allows you to protect that database. Because at the end of the day, you might think you're responsible and you're leveraging all the different certifications and training, but if your supply chain isn't and you're liable for that data, your customer base is going to reflect that in not trusting you, losing that credibility, losing that branding. For us as an agency and as a software company, we're very sensitive, especially when we work with banks and especially when we work with healthcare providers because of the HIPAA compliancy. So understanding where your weaknesses are, leveraging certain tools that allow you to analyze those weaknesses through machine learning, having your data talk to you to have some predictive analytics in place that communicates how you can lower that threat threshold is extremely vital.
Thank you. So you've both talked about small businesses, and I'm interested in exploring that a little bit further. As cyber attacks grow more sophisticated, how can small and medium-sized enterprises keep up with the cybersecurity measures that are often seen in larger corporations? Do you have any tips or ideas for how to do that?
Yeah, first start with the basics, right? So we talked about it a few times, training, good patch hygiene for software updates. By the way, treat every device that accesses your information as a risk. Mobile devices, routers, they are endpoints to your network. They have a ton of information about your customers and about you personally there. So that's kind of stakes. And then we talked about it a little bit about your choices in who you do business with, right? Are they taking security policy for real? Do they operate, for us in our environment, do they operate a secure network that you can access and leverage? Do they offer advice and consulting services? By the way, consulting is free for small and medium businesses from Verizon on cybersecurity to help people understand what they're doing. And if you're making a tech change, always include cybersecurity in that tech change, right? So anytime you're evaluating new technology, cybersecurity has to be part of that conversation in today's world. So those are some very easy and simple tips that you can do to kind of evolve and improve what you're doing today.
I couldn't say it better myself. I won't talk too much about the training because we all know that our frontline staffers are our frontline. But what I'll talk about is other resources. The SBA just came up with a great website that talks about cybersecurity to get started. The Federal Trade Commission has great information around cybersecurity. The Federal Comms Commission, there's another agency called the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Commission. Assuming you do get hacked or you have had an attack, what's important is to respond in a timely fashion. The FBI actually has a center called the IC3 Center, the Internet Crime Complaint Center, where once you do get hacked or once you do get an attack, you could respond to that attack by reaching out to those organizations, to that specific organization, to tell them that this experience has happened, and then they'll walk you through steps to mitigate that risk. Those are the low-hanging fruit, but there's also a great amount of technology out there, depending on your level of exposure and the sensitivity of your data, that's going to protect you. We haven't really touched on this, but machine learning was one of the big ones, but blockchain, depending on how valuable your data set is, because there's no centralized authority within blockchain, that particular tool can definitely leverage and protect your data because there's no centralized authority figure that can be hacked. I love the example of Cloudflare. Some of you guys have heard of this company out of the Bay. They are a software company that provides website and app security, makes their companies and the websites and the apps run faster, more secure. And what they did is they created what's called the wall of entropy. And so how many of us remember the 70s and the lava lamps? And so, right, we all had lava lamps. So they have a wall of about 100 lava lamps in their headquarters. And to encrypt their network, they have a camera pointing at their lava lamps, and the randomness of the lava lamps protects their encrypted database. And so that's creative ways you can use information. Obviously, I keep talking about behavior and predictive analytics. Those are the tools that we use within our organization to protect ourselves both preemptively and proactively. And so those are some tools and some accesses that you can leverage to protect yourself moving forward.
You hit on some interesting topics there, and I want to go just a little bit deeper on that, right? You talked about machine learning, blockchain, there's encryption techniques. I want to talk, as we get towards the end of this, about what's next, what's on the horizon in terms of cybersecurity. What should small businesses and everybody be thinking about as we look into the future a little bit? So maybe start with you again, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, so when you're looking at future technology, obviously we started with AI. AI is going to continue to permeate across business, enterprise, government agencies. It's becoming more and more a part of our daily lives. And with that, AI tools, even for small businesses, are going to be coming to market, right? You'll see it across multiple vendors and multiple suppliers to businesses. And there are lots of different tools from a cybersecurity perspective to help people understand what's going on in their infrastructure, help close gaps, automate processes, procedures, and capabilities to be able to do that. So that is going to continue to happen at a faster pace, quite candidly. And you're going to see more and more capabilities come forward. You're also going to see processing power from a network perspective, pushed out to the edge more over time, in my opinion, as well, because the AI processing capabilities takes up a lot of power today, right? So when if you've read about it at all, the power consumption of the chipsets is pretty dramatic. So you're going to see it push out to the edge. You're going to see more from a device perspective from some of the OEMs that make hardware devices. They're starting to come out with AI on the device specifically, so it doesn't maintain any of the data. It encrypts it at rest, as an example. So you'll see steps over time to give you more access and to secure it, but it is something that you need to stay on top of for your business. One thing I forgot to mention the last time is we have a platform called Digital Ready. So we have free courses, Verizon Digital Ready, and basically there's 40 courses. It does branding, it does accounting, it does IT, but there's also cybersecurity. It's also in language in Spanish. There's actually, anybody from Arizona, there's a Spanish session, a live session in Phoenix, Arizona next month, as an example. So lots of cool free resources to help you along this journey. I do highly advise technology is going to evolve. You have to invest some time here because the risks and the rewards are just too great.
Yeah, AI is a double-edged sword. Especially when it comes to deepfakes and phishing and malware and ransomware. And the force multiplier of AI is going to result in increased attacks to our community, to our small business, to our larger enterprises. And so getting ready for those attacks by being preventive, leveraging AI as well to protect your company is one of the biggest tools you can leverage. When it comes to deepfakes, those same tools that they're using when it comes to video, when it comes to audio, when it comes to text messaging, you can leverage yourself. You can use AI to identify deepfakes. You can train your staff to identify that. As a matter of fact, I am a contractor for Google for the past 7 years, and we have a similar program and workshop around cybersecurity when we walk through the different ways you as a small business can train your frontline staffers on the different types of attack, from malware to phishing to email to text messaging, to have a better sense of what you guys can do to protect your network, and then what kind of network you're actually using when it comes to cloud-based networks AWS, if it's Google Workspace. Google Workspace is Google's version of their network system. As a small business, that provides an extra layer of security for yourselves to make sure that you're not liable. They automatically bake in multi-factor identification for users, for end users. And so thinking through what kind of system am I creating, what kind of informational architecture am I creating, what kind of network am I using to communicate this information, and then what are my strategic partners that I could bring in to my network, I could bring into my supply chain to provide a basic level of training is extremely important. And as you move forward into the future, then you can get a little bit more sophisticated in the type of tools that you're leveraging according to the sensitivity of your data. What I would highly recommend is understanding what the cost is for a breach. We already know the baseline is 200,000. Some of us can be a lot more. I think globally, the cost of cybersecurity attacks in 2023 was in the trillions. So understanding what that preemptive investment means to you and what kind of data that you're leveraging and using is extremely important, and then putting a monetary number in that training is going to help you and protect you, especially when it comes to analyzing, predicting, and responding to the cybersecurity attacks.
Excellent. This has been fascinating. We have just a few minutes left, so I wanted to maybe give you both an opportunity to share any closing thoughts, anything I didn't ask about that people should be thinking about. Final thoughts, Roberto, start with you.
Yeah, great. So last few seconds, if you guys are still here tomorrow, highly recommend you join us for our Google workshop around AI and generative AI. We'll walk through what machine learning is, what large language models are, what generative AI is, and how you can leverage those specific tools, AI tools, for your business for growth and development. We will touch a little bit on cybersecurity and how that is affected, but it's a great session if you kind of geek out on this type of information to better enable you to grow in 2025.
I just say, listen, every business in today's world is digitally native. Being on the internet, using technology is required for anyone to compete. And with that allows you to personalize experiences for your customers, allow them to shop where they want to shop, how they want to shop. But with that comes a responsibility to keep your customers' data secure. And it's an amount of time you should invest individually to understand what those are and work with companies that can help you along that journey and bring some expertise if you need it.
Excellent. Well, I learned a lot in that session. I think our audience did as well. I want to take a moment just to thank our panelists, Michael and Roberto. Thank you very much. A round of applause.
Thank you.
I also want to say feliz cumpleaños to Roberto. Happy birthday. It is your birthday.
Oh, happy
today.
birthday. It's your birthday? It's my sweet 16.
And with that, I think we'll wrap.
Yeah, I thought everyone was going to start singing happy birthday.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to get 600 people wishing you happy birthday. There you go.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I got to
Hey, dear Roberto. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of today's panelists for sharing your expertise and experience with our members and guests. Colleagues, please welcome to the stage for closing remarks the Vice President of Government and International Affairs for the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Anthony Hinojosa.
Good morning, everyone. After that incredible opening session, it is apparent that the game is definitely on and the Hispanic business community is ready to run up the score. Could we get another round of applause for all of our speakers during the session today? I want to take a quick minute to thank our corporate chair, Bank of America, and all of our sponsors of this year's conference. One more round for them too, please. Today we heard about the tools that AI can bring to your business to support you and help you succeed. We also heard about the real threat of cybersecurity and how your business can defend against this real threat. These are tools that all Hispanic businesses will need in today's economy, and we're very excited that we got to bring those to you today. I want to take a quick minute, though, to thank my familia and my team, the USHCC staff. If you see them, let them know that you appreciate all the hard work that they're doing. I think that I would get in trouble if I didn't send a special shout out to Ramiro Cavazos, our fearless leader. Give him a quick round, too. Thank you. The real reason that they sent me out here was to make a special announcement. Our friends at Caesars Entertainment have provided us with an amazing giveaway for you this morning. So everybody look under your chairs and see if there's a packet for you. Only one's getting it, but I want everybody to look. Just wave if you find it. Not seeing it, but congratulations to whoever finds it. We look forward to having, oh, there we go over there, yay! We look forward to seeing you guys at all of the breakout sessions, the expo halls. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank y'all very much.